Joy said fees. How do I set single follow-up rates per hour relative to the rate per hour within a package? The goal is to steer the clients to how I work with them ideally over time versus one and done. You want to be working with them over an extended period of time, not just a single session. So I'm not sure I understand the question of how do you, yeah, I'm not totally sure I get it. So Joy, first of all, where are you zooming in from today?
I'm from Winnipeg, Tad.
Oh, hey there. Good to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Okay. So can you walk me through this?
Yeah, so the question is like I work with clients one-on-one, service provider,
Yeah.
and in my line of work, one and dones aren't enough, as is with most people. Working with people with recovering from chronic stress and trauma, and so it's a long game. Obviously, I want to work with clients in support plans rather than people coming for one session here and there. And I find one of the things that's been a bit of a sticky point is as I have created over the last couple years, I've created packages and support plans for people to work with me. People come for an initial intake session and a follow-up session in a couple weeks. And then it's like, well, if you really want to make some sustainable change, some lasting change, this is what I recommend. And then I have a couple of different package options for people to step into. And on my website, and some of this can just be website functionality sometimes, but my website has, like services or like a follow-up session is this much money. Whereas my kind of like hourly rate within a package is less per hour. So to kind of financially incentivize people to buy packages, it makes more sense to buy a package than just coming for 1 hour sessions. One of the kind of glitches I think that I'm experiencing is that when clients say they've been past clients, for example, that want to do a follow-up or a check-in and kind of resume practice with me, is a single session looks pretty expensive now because I've put those single sessions at a lot more money to incentivize people to buy packages. So part of it is, being available to returning clients at a price point that doesn't seem so scary. Like, oh, I used to pay this for my sessions and now she's charging this. So that's something that I'm, imagining as a bit of a problem with, when you grow and you change your pricing to still make it accessible and inviting for those past clients who are maybe wanting to work with me now, given that
I
I've
got I got it.
changed the way I do things now. Yeah, added different modalities, that sort of thing.
How long does somebody have to work with you to be considered a client and therefore eventually a returning client?
Well, a package would be like I have packages of, say, four.
So if they do a package, that's what we're
Yeah,
talking about. So once they're done the package, some kind of, okay.
yeah,
So what I would say is, one, make that part of the package. Just make it explicit. If you complete this package, then you get access to discounted rate sessions. So I would just
right.
make that clear right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't done a package and you're just wanting to do single sessions, it's like it costs more
Mm-hmm.
because this is not an ideal situation. This is not my preference. And so that's how I would do that. I would just structure it built in. And then there's also something about how do we have people coming to us saying, I want to sign up for a package?
Mm-hmm.
Not coming to us like, I want to talk to you to see, but how do we have people coming just saying, I want this package, or just buying it? It's just, we
Mm-hmm.
wake up and the money's in the bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do like my process of having an intake to see if my work is a fit for them or not, and if they're a fit for me. And, if I feel like they're within my scope or out of my scope of practice. And the follow-up really gives us a strong sense of, yes, this, like the things I had to do for the last 2 weeks actually have worked and moved the needle. Then they feel confident about making that bigger purchase and that commitment for themselves. So I
Mhm.
like the way, since I've started doing it that way, it's improved a lot. Like my uptake for packages has improved, but there's still a lot of room for I think, the niching of making sure I'm getting the right people coming in for those assessments in the first place.
Yeah, and one of the things I recommend, I'll just do a little screen share here, is for everybody, is this idea of so that if you go to marketingforhippies.com/webinars, you'll see a few webinars I have for sale. One of them is how to make a starter kit, which I might recommend checking out. But it's this
Hmm.
idea, like I've got my ethical marketing starter kit, but it's the idea of you create something that gives people a very robust taste of you and your point of view.
Right.
And this can even be something you ask people to do before the first session. Like, please do this as preparation for a session, possibly, or, or not. But as people are checking you out, it just gives them a way it'll save you time because there'll be
Hmm.
people who go through it who then say, not for me. Yeah.
Right. And I
No,
do I do have this sort of thing. It's not as polished as yours, but I do have this sort of thing as a sign up for my list gift
yeah,
where they get some, a short little thing of videos and a little how to work with me and what's really involved in that newsletter. I have from your Winnipeg workshop you did, I went and changed things on my website to include my approach and how I work with people so that to
right.
try to steer, people that are looking for a peak experience, one and done, because that's how I used to work with people more. So was that, that peak experience with conscious connected breath work, for example. And I use that tool, but that's not all I do anymore. So I use that, my approach page, how I work with people, who I work with. So I took that advice from you from the Winnipeg workshop, which I appreciated. So I feel like it's getting better. And at the same time, I feel like every time the niche comes up, I feel like my niche is still probably not specific enough.
I hear
Is
you.
is likely part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the clearer it gets, the clearer we get about the niche and the point of view in particular, the more when we do our discovery sessions, the people who are showing up are a fit, you know.
Hmm.
Because if we're doing all these discovery sessions and most of them aren't buying, it just starts to feel like, well, it doesn't feel like we are wasting our time. We're spending a lot of time that we don't need to spend. Yeah, the clearer we get that, the better we filter. The more the people who just aren't a fit, they never appear. They don't even come. So, yeah, thank you for your question.
Yeah. Thanks for the suggestions.